Operation Wolf A is a light gun shooter, 9, arcade game developed by Taito and released in 1987-10. It was ported to many home systems. The game was critically and commercially successful, becoming one of the highest-grossing arcade games of 1988 and winning the Golden Joystick Award for Game of the Year. Operation Wolf popularized military-themed first-person light gun rail shooters and inspired numerous clones, imitators, and others in the genre over the next decade. It spawned 4 sequels: Operation Thunderbolt, 1988, Operation Wolf 3, 1994, Operation Tiger, 1998, and Operation Wolf Returns, First Mission, 2023. Assuming the role of Special Forces operative Roy Adams, the player attempts to rescue 5 hostages who are being held captive in enemy territory. The game is viewed from a first-person perspective, and is on rails, with the screen scrolling horizontally through the landscape. 11. The game has 6 stages to advance the story. For example, after the jungle stage is completed, Adams interrogates an enemy soldier and learns the location of the concentration camp and hostages. Each stage has unique objectives and effects on gameplay after completion, all based on rescuing hostages. Game over screens vary depending on situations, such as the player's death or failure to rescue all hostages. Continuing the game restarts the stage. The Nintendo Entertainment System version has multiple endings depending on the number of rescued hostages. The arcade cabinet has an optical controller resembling an Uzi submachine gun which the player can swivel and elevate, and which vibrates to simulate recoil of gunfire. 12. Pulling the trigger allows fully automatic fire, and pressing the button near the muzzle launches a grenade with a wide blast radius against multiple targets. To complete each stage, the player must shoot a required number of soldiers and vehicles, trucks, boats, helicopters, armored transports, as indicated by an on-screen counter. The limited ammunition and grenades can be replenished by shooting objects. Shooting dynamite bombs causes heavy damage to every target on the screen, both enemy and friendly, and a special machine gun power-up allows unlimited ammunition and an increased rate of fire for 10 seconds. Enemies attack with gunfire, knives, grenades, mortar and bazooka rounds, and missiles. All their visible incoming projectiles can be shot out of the air. The player has a damage bar that slowly fills due to enemy attacks or shooting friendly targets such as nurses and boys. Damage can be recovered by collecting health power-ups and completing stages. Upon release in arcades, the game received wide acclaim from critics, particularly for its gameplay, graphics, and controls. Its violence was criticized, particularly in the UK press following the Hungerford massacre that had occurred a few months before its release. 39. Commodore user said it beats Sega's Afterburner as the game of the year and much of next year too, but that it may draw some controversy from tabloids for its Rambo-like violent content. 28. Claire Edgley of Computer and Video Games called it one of the best new releases, stating that, though excessively violent, it was an extremely playable and powerful, fast-paced action game. 16. Your Sinclair called it a fast and furious action game, and said it broke a bit of new ground for arcade games, costs that Anastas fired directly at you through the screen. The home computer conversions also received positive reviews. Your Sinclair gave the ZX Spectrum conversion a highly positive review. 4. The NES version received more mixed reviews. In Electronic Gaming Monthly's review of the NES conversion, 3 critics scored it 6/10, 1 8/10. Sinclair user gave the arcade game the over-the-top game of 1988 award, for the shooting game most likely to push you over the edge, in 1988. The home computer conversions won several awards at the 1989 Golden Joystick Awards for 1988, including Overall Game of the Year, 8-bit, Best Coin-Op Conversion, 8-bit, and Best Coin-Op Conversion, 16-bit. It was later voted number 26 in the Your Sinclair Reader's Top 100 Games of All Time poll. 44. Crash awarded it a Crash Smash. Computer and Video Games awarded it a CVG hit. This Taito-developed shooter, adapted from an arcade source, was originally a Zapper-compatible title when it came to the NES in 1989. So unless you have the peripheral and find yourself using just a controller to play it, be warned, no solution was ever introduced to simulate the old NES Zapper, no extra programming or effort was made to make it play more like the way it was originally intended. Unless you're one of the lucky ones who still have the light gun, Operation Wolf is a Zapper game without the Zapper. Operation Wolf's 8-bit visuals are horrendous, with muddy, indistinct backgrounds layered behind stiff and lifeless enemy soldiers. Your foes blink with a white light when they're about to fire at you, giving you some time to counterattack before their bullets or grenades hit you in the chest, but good luck keeping yourself alive when 5 different guys are all set to blinking in different corners of the screen simultaneously. If you manage to survive and progress from one stage to another, you'll find that Operation Wolf actually does have a workable plotline in place about a band of commandos raiding an enemy concentration camp in World War II and trying to free hostages imprisoned there. But that aspect, as with every other, worked much better in the game's original arcade edition. There you could select which of the game's 6 stages to play first, and the challenges in other levels were determined by the order in which you tackled previous levels. Here the order is determined and linear right from the beginning, eliminating yet another potential positive point that this game could have had. Operation Wolf was well worth the drop of a quarter in its original arcade form, as it featured a large, cabinet-mounted replication Uzi as a controller and had a lot of personality as a result. But when Taito began to port the game to countless different home systems in the 80s, it lost a lot of its appeal.